First off, I'd love for you to give a small introduction about yourself, what you do, what you've been doing, where you're currently living, a bit about yourself, and then we can start.
Okay. Um, I am originally from Dagestan. My name is Nazirdin, as you all already said. Um, Currently, I'm living in Moscow. This is my town for the time being. Um, this For now, I am trying to fulfill my I don't know how to say it. Um, I want to become fully a teacher, English teacher, and I've been teaching English um, individually, like giving some individual classes for like 2 or 3 years now, and now I'm trying to expand my work and to really dive deep into the industry and grow professionally and personally, and to really uh, become a professional teacher. Yeah.
So, how old are you, and what are you? Are you studying currently, or are you in university?
No, I've studied in med school and I've already graduated 2 years ago. I'm 25 years old. Um, I am planning to enter some other universities, for language studies, and I am planning on going through some international language teaching courses. Um, I'm still debating which one to choose. There is this inner battle in my head. Having some troubles uh, choosing a course, but yeah, it's uh, it's planned. Yeah.
Let's backtrack a bit because you said you studied in med school, and it's been 2 years since. So, why is it from med school that you want to transition to being an English teacher?
Um, I wanted to be an English teacher, like from my school, but the problem with being a teacher in Russia is that teachers are not paid well in Russia. Like they are having severe problems getting by those salaries. They're like very low, not competitive at all,
Is it
and
both in private and public sector, or both?
yeah, like it's pretty much the same everywhere, and that was like a huge deal breaker for me. And once I graduated from med school, I was studying for dentistry, and I've become a dental technician. And I was like pretty successful there too, but I've got like really frustrated with the industry because it was no longer for us to help people to get more healthy and to solve their problems, their cases, but to just earn some money. Like I love the money, but not this way. Like by it was more of, I don't know, some uh, cruel and like soulless industry to like just um, make money for the sake of making money and like not at all helping people, making them healthier. And that's why I just like quit. And I
You mean the job wasn't fulfilling, or was it the job environment?
yeah, job environment, because I loved the job, making all the entries and everything. It was like very I'd like to say it had like some artistic merit to it, but which I liked, and I liked everything about the job itself. But the industry, it was like very corrupted, and it still is. And I like didn't want to be a part of that. And then I easily and very like quickly transitioned into fitness and fitness industry. There I was like more useful, and I was really helping people to get more fit, to get healthier, and it was like very good because I was making good money and making some like good change in the world, for in people's lives. And it was like very good, like the best job I had so far. And but it all stopped once this like international conflict thing erupted. And yeah, it was like it ruined everything for me in that field, because people were like more I don't know, like they were like afraid for their budget. They weren't like very confident in making those financial decisions, and they just like tend to cut these things off. And I was like, I lost almost 10 clients in 1 week, and I was like, okay, this is not going
So
so good.
you
I just
you were a personal trainer after you were a
yeah,
dentist.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and in that sense, you were personal training. You were branding yourself, or were you working with a gym, or were you branding yourself on the internet and getting clients?
I was like mostly, um, not mostly. All the clients were just from this local gym where I was working. But I was trying to like expand my um, field to like the whole town through Instagram, but never get like really to it. So I never got any like followers and clients from Instagram, but it was enough. Like the people from the gym, they were enough. But when this thing started, it was like almost impossible to gain new clients, and uh, to have those old clients too. Like they were very satisfied with my work and with me as their um,
Personal
coach.
trainer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but money, yeah, it
Yeah.
was issue for them, and then they just stopped. Yeah.
It's a very interesting insight that you just mentioned because you're living in Russia, of course, and since the conflict started, you're saying that even Russians became very aware of their budgeting and they just cut on. Because personal having a personal trainer, I guess it is kind of a luxury service to an extent, and so they were cutting these costs to save. In Russia, where civilians drafted to go to war.
Yeah, like I am endangered to get like dragged into that mess too, but I'm like trying my best to steer clear from that. Like there are some, I don't know, some legal like maneuvers that I can make, so like I will be safe from that, and like, I'm trying to to do that.
I
Yeah.
guess we're getting political a bit too
Yeah,
quickly
yeah,
into
yeah.
the interview, but what's your opinion or view on this war? What do you think about it?
Well, I am like highly against that, like because I'm not trying to be like pacifist here, but I really am. I don't believe in that kind of war, because it's like it's absolutely political. There is nothing to get a war uh, from. I don't know. Like there is no reason to for people to fight, to kill each other, and uh, it's like just a political and sick and twisted game, which I want to like be no part of. And I'm like, I don't know. I cannot stress enough how much against I am for things like that. And like, not only I don't want myself to be dragged into that, like uh, I just cannot see a sane person going into a thing like that and being a part of that. But like, people do. Most of the people that are going to there and like voluntarily, they are going like to earn some money, and which is insane. Like, they are making insane amount of money, like very easily. It's like some kind of game, and I don't think, like, for legal reasons I can like share things that I know, but it's very twisted, and it's like a deal breaker for me. Like, if a person is pro war, let's put it like that, I'm like, okay, like, I cannot like no longer talk to you or be part of your life, because like that's not possible for me
Yeah.
to just like being friends with you or anything.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it is a twisted political game, and it's also about it's also about money. It's also business. This war,
Yeah,
it is a billion-dollar industry where arms are being sold, and unfortunately, both sides are losing, and the civilians are the ones who are
yeah.
losing the
The
most.
students are the ones who are losing, and it's very tragic, like in every way, like for all the people from both sides, and uh, yeah, it's just tragic.
Did you move from Dagestan when you were a kid, or how old were you when you moved to Russia?
No, I moved here when I was like 20 years old. Like, it was my 20th birthday, and like in May, and then I moved here in like in September. When
So
I yeah, when I was going for the med school, it was here. So when I joined, I just moved. Yeah, just like.
And when did you start learning English, or how did you start learning English?
Yeah, my English learning journey, it pretty much started and bloomed when I was in my. It's not like American high school, but in the last part of the school, uh, and like I moved from, like, we live like high in mountains, and I moved to the capital of our republic to just like switch schools for like a better one, and that school, it was uh, it was called professional licensing, but it was like nothing about any profession, but like it was just a name. And English was like one of the strongest, I don't know, uh, like the strongest class of that school, and also it was IT classes, maths, and there was like Turkish classes too, classes of Turkish, and I've learned English and Turkish, and I was like very fluent to the last class, last years of the school, and since then it was like I never had any single lesson after graduating school. Yeah, so it was just like pretty much it was just the school.
Yeah, and then the rest it was mostly self-taught as well.
Yeah, yeah, it was just myself improving my speaking skills, listening skills, writing, reading, and everything. Like, just my independent work.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many questions because I live in Belgium, and in Europe we do follow the UFC a lot, and you pretty much know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna talk about Khabib. So you saying that you live high up in the mountains and everything. How much did you guys were into wrestling and sports wise? Did you guys do all that?
Yeah, of course. Like in every town, in every city, in every like little village, there are like at least some martial arts like going. And in my let's call it a village, um, it's not like very traditional village. It doesn't look like that. It like really looks like a city, but it's high in the mountains. And there was wrestling, there was judo, which was like the most popular in our village, and there was like boxing club too. And yeah, like in Dagestan, you like you have to be a part at least of one of those martial arts, like for personal reasons to like stay your ground and like defend yourself, which you have to do like which you had to do all the time. Like nowadays, it's a little bit different from that time, and yeah, so people there are like very into martial arts and just like playing street fighting.
Yeah. So growing up, how much of an influence does the parent have on the child learning how to wrestle and get into martial arts? Or
Mm, um, I don't know. Like, it's not just parents being influenced about getting into martial arts, but yeah, like usually fathers, but mothers too really insist on a kid getting into one of martial arts. Yeah, like mothers, they can be a little more gentle than fathers. Like they tend to be afraid for the kid's health and everything. Like he can be traumatized and everything. But yeah, fathers usually do not care. They just like no, he's
yeah.
going. Yeah, and you have to be like you have to make your peace with that because it's inevitable because he has to.
I guess it's better for the child to learn early on in his life how to fight, how to wrestle, how to go
Of
through
course.
pain, rather than in modern days right now in the West, especially kids are just given iPads and phones and left
Yeah.
to do their own thing. We also see at school the stuff that they're being taught. It's not necessarily the best education.
Yeah.
So I think I definitely support this side of the country. But where did you live in Dagestan? What's the name of the?
The name of my village, it's not where I'm originally from, but I live there like from the very start of my life. It's called Dubki, and it's like very situated very close to this um, Grand Canyon. It's called Sulak Canyon, and it's I think it's deepest and longest in Europe, maybe in Asia too, like the whole
Mm-hmm.
continent. And it has to be like third or the second deepest in the world. The first one is I cannot recall the name. It's in Africa, and we are fighting for the second place with the Grand Canyon in Colorado.
Mm.
So it's very beautiful there, and that's just its name, Duki.
Duk. I mean, Dagestan is definitely on my bucket list to visit. I had the opportunity, but I couldn't take the opportunity to go to Uzbekistan. I have a really close friend from there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know when I will go, but definitely on my to go list.
Okay, so whenever you decide to come here, like just be my guest, let me know, and I will definitely have you
All right,
as
awesome, man. That's awesome. Uh, so as a fitness coach, you think how much have you been into fitness, and do you think the how do you say it, this environment that you grew up in, where you had to be involved in martial arts and everything, did that influence you into becoming a sports coach?
Yeah, I think in um, to some extent that influenced me, and I always wanted to be the most fit and powerful version of myself, and I got into like really got into this idea of becoming that version of myself from the school too, and it was more of like deep, I don't know, uh, science work for me for that period. I was more like reading into like all the books that I could like get access to, and like really learning how my body and like everybody works. And then I could like just say scientifically I don't know how to say, um, I could build like the program myself without having any coach, and knowing how my body is responding to every like movement, to the program, and how like the best way to gain all the results that I'm aiming for. And yeah, I just pretty much never needed a coach myself. And it's like when you first hear it, it's like kind of mm, uh, hypocritical of me to like say that I never needed a coach, but you need it. But it's really like that because I knew like how 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 I should like do all the exercises, and I had like more experienced friends to check in on my form in every movement. But I like people that I see in gyms, like people from Dagestan too, and like neighboring republics. Like I see like them straight out traumatizing them, like breaking their bodies, tearing all the like muscles and tissues apart, and it's like painful just to see that. And yeah, so
But I think you're right. I mean, I don't think you're wrong when you say that you didn't need a coach, but other people do, because a lot of people don't know what they're really doing. A lot of
yeah.
people just see a video of Arnold lifting and doing these weird exercises, and they think they can do the same. But there's a good majority of people that can train themselves and are good at training others. Me as well in my fitness journey. I learned most of the stuff myself and through friends that know a lot about it. And now I do feel confident that I could teach someone else, although I don't want to. But yeah, it's definitely, you can learn a lot by yourself. And to get yourself to the next level, I feel like if you work with a personal coach, you can get
Yeah.
better results, especially for beginners that are completely unaware of this industry, because there's a lot of scams going on social media where they say do this 6 minute workout to get abs, selling courses. I think you know some of them, like V Shred and some other guys.
A lot of them.
But one question I do have that might be conflicting with what I'm saying, because nowadays social media, it's like there's a lot of influencer coach. They get fit somehow. That could be uh, naturally or unnaturally, which is most of the time fake natties. And then they go about selling their courses, which doesn't work. So, do you think that everybody should be a fitness influencer or fitness coach without proper, let's say, certification?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like proper education is a key to being a good personal coach because when the person like there are lots of different cases and each case is like very it's individual, like their personal success. It's sometimes it's I don't know, like winning a lottery. So they just have good genes. They had like some good background, and then they just like bloom out of nowhere. And maybe they even had like some steroids or hormonal therapy. And there is like so many misconceptions about getting like fitter, bigger, and stronger, that they can believe themselves, like they truly believe them, but they are false. And for them to just pass those misconceptions further, and like I don't know, they are proven those misconceptions by their own success, which was based on those things that they believe in. And it can do a lot of damage, most of which is irreversible. So people will be, I don't know, they will be traumatized, they will get injured,
Misguided.
yeah, misguided, and at the end they will be very depressed, disappointed in themselves, in industry, and everything. And yeah, I think people should not be talking about getting fitter and stronger without proper knowledge. Like if you don't know what is working, what worked for you, you cannot know, like possibly cannot know what will work for all the people there are. Like because each case with the clients, I mean, is very individual too, because there are like so many variables to getting fitter. So you cannot just like apply some like one formula to everyone.
Yeah, that's for
It
sure. I
is
mean,
like it is pretty simple. Like when you get like to the base of it, like you just train, then you eat, then you like sleep, and that's like
repeat.
your first. It's not easy. It's simple but not easy. Like there are like other problematic points in that journey that you can like fall off, and it will be very damaging and tragic.
Yeah, I mean, training, eating, it sounds simple, but it's not as simple as that.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, definitely the eating part is the toughest for me. Not the eating rice and chicken part. I could eat rice and chicken 3 times a day forever, but to me, it's the sweet tooth. I really crave
Mm-hmm.
sweet things. So I don't know, with your clients, how is it? The problems that they face? Is it the training? Is it the food?
Uh, Honestly, like it will sound like very I don't know. Now, I am Muslim, and when I say things like this, it gets controversial very easy. But
I'm Muslim
most
as well. Go for it.
okay, I mean for the audience, for them
Yeah.
to the best I don't know impression of these words. But in Russia, for people, and especially in Moscow, the worst enemy that they face is alcoholism,
Mm.
and they do not get how bad of a situation that they have. Like my first client, like the very first one, he was trying to like lose some weight, and alcohol is like big chunk of calories, and they are like useless. They are empty. They add up to your calorie equation, but they do not give you anything, and they just only take. So they take your nerves, they take your muscles, your health, your condition out of proportion, and they just add up like these empty calories. And I was, we were like training with him for like half a month, And I was like, I'm not seeing any results. Like, what are you not doing that I told you to do, and what are you doing that I told you not to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like pretty much like doing everything that you said. And he was like very weak. He was very weak from the very start, but I was expecting for him to get more like fit and stronger, and to get some like better endurance, because he was not even making half of the program that I've like created for
Yeah.
him. And I was like, something is going wrong. Like, you are not telling me. And I was like, do you drink? And he was like, yeah, like suddenly, like I'm not like alcoholic. And I was like, okay, like tell me, how often do you drink? And he was like, not like more than 3 times a week. I was like, what? Like, that's alcoholism. Like, like you are ill. You cannot say that you are not having any problem with alcohol, because you are having. And he was like, no, like that's not too often. I was like, if you like really dig into it, you will get the answer that if you have any um, if you drink like frequently, if that frequency is just like once a month,
Mm-hmm.
that's alcoholism, because you have that as your habit.
Yeah.
And like I was like, let's not just get into that. I'm not trying to like save you from alcohol or anything. I'm not like trying to do anything like that, because that's your personal choice. And like my values, they do not apply to you, but you are trying to achieve this goal. And there is like no way that you will get there whilst like drinking alcohol even once a month, let alone doing it like 3 or 2 times a week.
A week. Yeah.
And he was like, he was very depressed, like hearing all that. And there was like lots of health problems with his health. And I was like, that's like all easily caused with your drinking. Just like quit it, at least for the time being. Like, do it like to achieve all the goals that you like put for yourself. And he was like, no, like that's not possible. And yeah, it was just like that. And that's the worst enemy of Russian clients, of clients in Moscow. But for your problem, I have like the easiest solution. You just get working form of Chrome. Just you take the pill once a day, and you will get rid of your dependency on sugary food, and you'll be just fine.
Wait, what's the pill you just mentioned?
It's Chrome. Like, it's the element of periodic table, and you just
Okay.
like find some like working form of that element, and you just take those pills. That
Mm-hmm.
will be just enough. It will just like instantly take that dependency on sugar food out of proportion. It will be just
Yeah, I
much
mean,
better.
when I say dependency, it's not a dependency really. It's just if I'm on a program, let's say I'm cutting, like a couple of months ago, I was trying to cut down. I was on a cut for 3 months and I was just trying to cut. But
Mhm.
it wasn't that hard for me, but just this once a week, I had this really high urge of having something sweet. And then I
Mhm.
did have something sweet, and it did keep the program intact. I was still losing weight,
Mhm.
but now that I'm off of it, I'm just training and eating. Now it's a bit tougher to convince myself to not eat something sugary every day. But yeah, I mean, I'll look into Chrome, as you
Okay.
said.
Yeah, yeah. You try that. It will just like take that problem off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But I really advise against like these strict restrictions. Like you cannot have these, you cannot eat these, like these kind of food. If you want it, just eat it. But your like the main part of your diet should be like proteins, good carbohydrates, fats, and fiber and everything. And then you just like when you eat your meat, when you eat your, let's say, like rice or pasta and your veggies and fruits, then you can have it like
Mm-hmm.
for dessert, but not like I don't know, like insane amounts of sweets, but just like a slice of a cake, of a pie, or something like that. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I do not restrict myself of anything, and I know like if for example I have to get some health tests, and there are like some restrictions, like you cannot eat this, you cannot eat that, and I was like, okay, I need a week to prepare for those tests because it's like 3 or 4 days before the test that you cannot eat all those things, and I was like, I have to mentally prepare myself to do that because like in like my whole life, I really, if something is unhealthy, like, or it's like very toxic for me, for my health, I will just like cut loose of that. But if I just but not for I don't know, for dietary reasons, for like just to get in shape or anything. I will just get in shape, and food will never be a problem for me. Yeah,
But I still think there are some stuff that you just shouldn't just eat, like fast food. Yes, once
yes, yes,
or
of course,
twice a
because
month you
like,
can, but it's not something that should be a part of your life. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, when you're out with friends, maybe, sure, but on a consistent basis.
yeah, it's I don't know. It can happen. It's not like something. It won't like end or ruin your like whole progress.
Mm-hmm.
But that shouldn't be a regular thing because it's poisonous, like straight out poisonous. Like uh, every single person that I know that eat in like those McDonald's or KFC or all other places, they all like all the time they complain about having all sorts of like problems with their digestion system right after they eat there. I was like, can't you like really get the idea that you're not supposed to do that, and just like cut off of that, and you will feel like much
Much better.
more, yeah, much better. And they are just like, okay, but we just like that. And I was like, okay, then like to suffer too. It's like a package deal for you.
Mm-hmm. Coming back to your client, did you end up cutting ties with him, or you kept on training him?
Yeah, when I like he was my very first client, and the price for my for my uh,
Service?
yeah, for my service. It was like very cheap because I was advised by my friends who got me like dragged me into fitness. Was like to get it like very low the price, and then like up the price. And when I just like doubled the price because I was like, I'm worth that, and I like really invest into your progress. And if if you cannot see that, and if you don't want to invest in yourself, so we are just like not compatible at all. And when I doubled the price, all the other clients, they were like, yeah, like that was inevitable. We knew at some point that you will do that, and you're worth much more than your old price. So yeah, we are ready, and we already anticipated that. And he was like, okay, yeah, let me just like think about that. And I was like, okay, like that's perfectly fine. Like
Mm-hmm.
do your thinking and like sleep on it, and then just like let me know for me to not like hold your place, your time for you, and like just feel it. And then he just like he couldn't like get himself to like really let's say confessing that he doesn't want to continue to like train with me, but he just like went into ghosting mode, and I was like, okay, like he's a gunner, and he never even like went to gym after that, like at
Mm-hmm.
all. He wasn't even like going himself. I was like, at least train yourself, like without me, without any other coaches, or find yourself some cheaper coach that are like those kinds here in our gym too. So just like, just don't quit on yourself. But he did. Like it was the end of his journey.
That's unfortunate. And I mean, yeah, Russia has a big drinking culture, so I guess that's where it comes from. But the thing is, even in Europe, Europeans have a big drinking culture. And for me personally, as you said, it is going to sound controversial because we're Muslims, we have values that others might not have. For me, being fit and alcohol, it does not mix, you know. It's
Yeah.
it's just not me saying this. Scientists have said it. Um, the Quran said it 1400 years ago. Uh, even researchers and scientists are saying even a glass of alcohol, wine, be it wine or beer, is detrimental to your health, even if it's once a week. It's I don't know if you know him, Andrew Huberman. He's
Mhm.
a scientist in Stanford University. But yeah, it's stuff like this, and unfortunately, yeah, I have a lot of friends that try to be healthy, but at the same time they go out, party, drink. But anyways, it's their life; they can do it however they want. It's for me
Their
personally,
their choices and like
it's
all
your
of that.
choice. We're never gonna try to force you into fixing yourself. It's your choices. You'll deal with the consequences. You know, unfortunately. But that's a really good insight about the clientele that you have. Um, moving on, and do you still continue being a fitness
Yeah,
coach?
for half a year, I wasn't going into gym even myself because I moved back to Dagestan, and it was like uh, we don't have a gym in my village, and like I never trained for that period because it was like very hectic, very problematic for me. I was severely depressed too, with all this conflict going on and the risk of me being dragged into that. I was really trying to flee the country too,
Mm-hmm.
like wherever I go, I just have to go. And I had to give up my cat too, which I loved like very much. And yeah, like all that, like it just piled up on me, and I was like not in any condition to put myself through the stress of like wrecking my body under the
Mm-hmm.
weight, which was the worst mistake because I could have gone like through much better if I was like still going having my workouts. But yeah, and I lost some decent amount of my shape, and I got like much slimmer, and I lost a lot of muscle weight. And now I'm just trying to get back to gym to get in shape, and then I will once again like get into fitness industry too, because like I can like successfully sell my workouts now too, but I just don't want to. Like I don't want for any of the clients to just like when I approach them with saying like I'm your personal coach for today, for them to just like wonder where is my personal coach,
Mm-hmm.
why so small,
You
and
want to
how
show results to them
yeah,
before you
I want
approach them.
like show like my personal example, like just stand there and they be like, yeah, we want that, and it's just like that. But I I am really missing gym because I love it and I love the work itself too. And yeah, my workouts, it's like it was like I don't know, main event of every day, like hours of work, like just like this, just working out
Mm-hmm.
without like warm ups and warm downs or anything, like without cardio. It was just like me and weights for like 3+ hours, and it was a lot of
It's a
fun.
good
And
feeling, yeah.
like very maybe not relatable for people who are not into working out, but those who do, they just get it. Like
Yeah.
they get why it's so fun, and there is like chemical imbalance into this too, because like when you work out, you have like this cocktail of hormones that just respond to this huge amount of work that you've done, and you feel like very good.
Yeah, the
And
more you stimulate yourself through strength training, the more dopamine, endorphins, all the good chemicals get released into your brain, and you, at the end of the day, you feel good and more
yeah,
alive and more motivated to do it again.
yeah,
It's like finding peace in the pain. You know, it's like you get
yeah,
better through it. But I'm glad that you like at least got to understand that you were in a depressed place. You know that you went through that. I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. I mean, yeah, when you see that you could potentially lose your life for something that you don't really support,
mhm,
it does put you in a depressive state.
yeah,
But definitely the fact that you realize that not working out would have helped you more is definitely good. You can learn from that mistake. Even a lot of my personal experiences, I was also in I was really anxious, used to be really anxious, but working out and reading books definitely helped. And that's a big advice to a lot of people that find themselves in such places, working out, moving.
yeah. Because they are like the best version of antidepressants, and they do not harm you in any way. They do not harm your health, at least not your mental health,
Hmm.
and physical health if you do it like properly too. And it just saves you from all the misfortunes that are in life. And you like as a bonus, you get fitter too, and you
Hmm.
get fuller.
Yeah. Now it's a bit of a debatable topic, and I mean I have my stance on it. But what's yours? It's like going to the gym, getting big, uh, versus someone who trains MMA, for example.
Mhm.
Which one would you prefer, and which one is better?
Um, MMA, as any martial art, for me is like I like it. I like the idea of it. I like the pursuit. But when it gets into competing
Hmm.
and in like getting into like I don't know, it's no longer a sport for me, but it's just a competition. It's just a show. So it sets a very bad example. It's not for any good reason, and um, I'm very against that too. But it's like very controversial, and
I mean, my question is would you look good but not be able to fight, or look average and be able to fight if the the chances were that you found yourself in a position that you have to defend yourself?
yeah, of course, like looks are no, they do not matter if you are and usually you are in like life puts you into that position when you have to defend yourself, others, and you just like your looks, anything like anything that you got other than like the ability to defend yourself, it just doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And yeah, of course, like everybody should use to look average but be capable of defending yourself, and not the other way around, because like what are the looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like people who are into looks, they are never satisfied with the image too, and it's like a lose-lose for me. But
Mm-hmm.
in a way, when you are powerful and you have like all the skills to defend yourself,
Yeah. You've
like
never.
for men, it's not even a question.
It's an
Like,
obligation,
yeah, you just have to. That's your
duty.
yeah, duty.
Yeah, as a man, that's for sure. The duty. So you have never competed. It seems you just trained.
Yeah, I just trained for myself.
But in terms of wrestling, when you were wrestling or doing judo.
Yeah, like sparrings, they are like completely okay. That's it's very crucial for like any trainee to know where they stand into like this. Let's call it gym
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy, and you just have to know, and you have to know your like low points for you to really develop those like extra skills for you to get like better and better every day. But that's just sparring. That's not competition. That's not earning money on that. That's not making a show out of that. Like for me, it's very demeaning for a person to get into those fights and just like what am I doing? Like entertaining some I don't know uncivilized. It's controversial, but I will say it. Uncivilized people like seeing me beating the hell out of the other person or the other way around, and I'm like just getting a good amount of money, but I'm losing my health and like all the beliefs that I have. Like it's against my religion, it's against my personal choices. So yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of guys that are stopping to fight just because it's the truth. You're fighting, for example, if you fight in the UFC, uh, the way it's being promoted, the sponsors that they have, it's not
Yeah.
halal. It's gambling and women and alcohol. So for you to put yourself into that spot to fight, yeah, well, like what are you really fighting for? It's a really I wouldn't say complicated. There are like Muslim fighters fighting and who fought, but I can't really speak for them.
Yeah,
uh
we cannot speak for anybody other
mhm,
than ourselves, but it's very simple. When it comes to religion, that's like the best thing about religion and about Islam in particular. You have like all the answers, and they are like pretty simple. Is this halal or is this haram? Like there are like some gray spots, but not when it
mhm.
comes to like this. Like everybody knows that uh, it's not okay to be doing that, but they just like find they just make some peace with them being in that field, and that's just their burden to be responsible for.
Yeah, but definitely when it comes to learning how to fight, it's definitely like it's recommended for you to go to an MMA gym and to learn how to fight, do some sparring. But yeah, when it comes to competition, I guess it's another topic. But
Yeah, yeah,
what I came to the conclusion is that okay, if someone is lifting, at least to be able to look intimidating is
yeah,
helpful to not get into a fight. So
yeah.
that's also another thing, to look intimidating if you just
Because
do.
like see you and they be like, yeah, will I have like more problems than he will? And they're like, yeah, probably. And they just like go to the other, like they go the other way, or they just like change their demeanor like
Mhm.
completely. They be like insanely friendly to you, and they were like a minute ago they were like very rude and even cruel to some other guy or
Yeah,
any person.
yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. And like doing none of the both is worse than just doing one, you know? Like
Yeah.
not doing no strength training, no fighting MMA training is even worse. So just doing one of the two, but preferably also learning how to fight is definitely important, or at least know how to throw a punch. You know, I see a lot of guys that are so stiff, and you just see them. I mean, me personally, I never really went into competing. I just trained a bit of wrestling, and I do box at home. But
Oh,
my brother,
for a minute, there is um,
no problem.
battery emergency on my end. Okay, I think I'm good.
Perfect. Yeah, I was saying, yeah, my brother does fight. He also went into some competitions, but recently he's been trying to stop as well for these reasons, you know. But yeah, like at least knowing how to throw a punch is definitely a plus in
Yeah.
their side. But let's go back to, because we talked a lot about fitness. It's a topic that I definitely like to talk about. Hopefully, we can do this again. Talk about
Yeah,
completely fitness. But
I'll be happy.
let's go back to the language. You know,
Yeah.
now you're currently learning yourself, and you have a business on the side that you're trying to develop.
Yeah, I'm like really trying to launch a course, a beginner's course for English, because there are like lots of people around me, like acquaintances, friends, relatives who really want to get into like English. They want to start learning English, um, and I just want to help. Like I'm not claiming that I'm like this best tutor that you can find, but basics, like the foundation of English that everybody uh, needs to like really build on. Uh, I can give that like very successfully and sufficiently at this point, at this level of my own English too. And I have like all the I don't know all the stuff that I need, like
Resources.
yeah, all the resources, yeah, all the information, all the media, everything. I know how to do it. I have like means to get them to results, and yeah, I'm just trying to like launch this cheap, very affordable, but very useful course, and it will be a 6 month course. It will be like uh, relatively cheap for people to like really get this good chunk of English foundation, and then they can transition into either like learning English themselves, like independently, or continuing doing it with me or with other personal tutors. Yeah, but after that, or maybe even when the course is still going, I will get into one of the courses that I want. There is like very good local course too, and some international courses too. I wanted to start from TOEFL, and there were like some other choices too, but I never get the time and wasn't really in a good position to start those courses. In summer, in July, I got into this English camp in Turkey, and it was like very good for me, like very good experience for me to just like be a good part of children learning English. And then I like get back from Turkey. I had to like really find some let's let's call it some mm, safe job for
Mhm.
me to like really pay for my bills, for everything that I need, and for the course itself too, because those courses they do not come cheap. Yeah, but they are worth it. Yeah, so now I'm just currently working at the job and working on the course too. So I'm trying to like win them all, and then just launch the course. I have to like for any means necessary. I need to like get to launching the course by the end of this month. So just I I
Yeah, I
hope.
mean, all the best with that. I think it's completely doable, and you have the dedication. And yeah, I mean, that's a really good advice that you're following is to work and get some money in so that you can
Yeah.
spend it on using it for your own personal projects. It's an advice that I've heard everywhere, basically, from successful entrepreneurs and businessmen. So this course, so is it a course that the individual will do himself after he buys it, or is it going to be like an online class that you host every
Uh,
week or day?
will be pre-recorded classes. Some like videos of me explaining all the basic stuff, and then they will just watch those like uh, classes, those I don't know,
Clips, yeah, videos.
yeah, themselves, and then by the end of every week we will have like online calls where we discuss all the things, and they will have their homeworks which they will work on, and then like we will work on all the like mistakes. uh, I will be in touch all the time, and it won't be like completely offline. They just buy and then like learn themselves from
Mm-hmm.
the I provide with, but it will be like both. It won't be online too because that's a lot of time and effort, and for me to do it for like this huge group of people, it won't come cheap. But I want like the main idea is to make it affordable. So yeah, it's like some hybrid program of offline and online work.
And when it comes to who are you specifically targeting? Are they students or are they working people or is it anybody?
It's just like for the beginners, for people who had experience of learning English, and for those who never did, but for people who want to like really gain this foundation of English. Yeah,
When
that's
it
just it.
comes to the method that you're using in your videos, what's the method of teaching the language that you're using?
Uh, it's pretty much my journey that I went through in my school. It will be like it was like it's just the best working method that I have at this point, and I will just build the whole program out of that, and it will be yeah like learning the basics, like all the tenses and all the constructions, and then like really repeatedly and massively. Exercising all those all the knowledge that you get from every class. Yeah, you just like apply all that in like all the exercises and all the assignments that I will give them. So yeah, just like that, and it will like always include like reading assignments, writing assignments, some just lingual exercises for them to like make sentences and everything, and interactive stuff too. So they will have to speak. They will have to like get the idea of somebody else speaking, and just like that.
And do you have a team behind this, or is it just you doing?
Yeah, it's just me.
So it is quite tough to manage everything, all the videos, editing, the
But
logistics.
really, I like before I got into that English camp, I had everything that I had a time like while I was waiting for their final decision of camp leaders, like directors, for them to choose me or other candidate. And I was like, okay, I have to use this time and make it uh, the most useful for me and for others. And I really, I have like this written scripted version of the whole course already. So I have to like, film the stuff, just like I don't know, publish it. So it's really like the main part of the course is uh, I would say half of the work is already done, and now I'm just like doing the other half. But yeah, it's really challenging, but that's the interesting part, and that's what you get from constantly training. You have this discipline, and you are very open for a challenge, and I really am, and I just like want to get to the point of launching this course like just myself, like without any help of. I maybe will get some help in marketing, in launching, like the very launch of the course, but the course itself, it's just me.
Yeah, and that's definitely something you mentioned is that the things that you learn through training, you can implement it in your life. I mean, in training, yeah, we train every day, but after a long time, you get to see results. You don't see results every day through your eyes, but there is some kind of results. So
So
yeah, I think the way you're doing it is definitely very interesting, and you have a big passion behind it. I
yeah,
can definitely see that, and yeah, you're using your own experience to provide a service for others, and I think that is definitely something very interesting. But when it comes to the marketing part, on your Instagram, there isn't much marketing material, but you do make reels. How
yeah.
do you think you're going to increase, or what do you think you're going to do on that?
Yeah, I will definitely continue on making those reels. I've stopped for the time being, like because I never had time for that. And I will try to make it. For now, it's more like I don't know, like just my life and English. They are like intertwined, and I will just like. Get more professional about my Insta page, and I will just post more reels and more posts, more like the stories. They will be all about English, and I think like eventually it will come to a better like the situation in my account. It will get better, and I will get like the people who are my target audience. Like the thing about Instagram in Russia for now is like very I don't know. It's very difficult because we cannot advertise for the people that need our products. Like we cannot directly get to their feeds, and it's very challenging for us. Like you could like get the direct advertising through the Facebook or Instagram itself back in the days, but when this whole thing started, it just felt like we were cut cut off the Instagram, and like still to this day we have to go through the challenge of turning on like VPN and like just it's
Mm-hmm.
jumping through hoops like all the time, and that's just like another thing that we have, but still we manage, and I think I will too. But the thing about marketing and about like really positioning myself and really selling this course, uh, I think like everything is better when is done better when it's given to professionals. And if there are people that can do it better than I do, I will be happy to like uh, give them money and make them more like successful and wealthier.
As
Will
long
succeed.
as you get results, it's a
Yeah,
win-win situation for sure. Making use of professionals in marketing, especially, like you cannot. It's just being real. You cannot know everything yourself as
of
much
course.
as we want to. It's good to know as much as you can, but at a specific level, when with any business, you have to outsource these services, such as
Mhm.
marketing or logistics. You can't have it do it all yourself.
Yeah, it's not like I really, if you like get into it, you can know that, but it's still like very difficult for you to really do all that yourself. So I'm like, if that will affect on the quality of the course, I'm not okay with doing all that myself. So I will be more than happy to pay anybody to just do that and have the quality of my coming course intact. Yeah, it's more about not losing my image, not losing my face out there when I launch the course, because I cannot have people telling like saying that my course was like just not it, not
Hmm.
have the quality or use. Like I just I cannot bring myself to that situation, to that position, and I just don't want to do anything uh, half-assed. So
Yeah,
want to give my all to their
to provide a good service,
yeah, yeah,
to provide a good experience for whoever purchases it.
yeah.
Is there a specific name for your brand? Because here you're actually providing a service, selling a service. So
Mhm.
you don't really necessarily need a brand name, but or are you just going off your own name?
No, I was yeah, I definitely have a name to my course and to my business. Let's call it that already, even if it's like a little bit of not existential
Mm-hmm.
for me. But I was even thinking, like debating whether I should like change my Instagram name to that name too, but for now I didn't like I wanted I liked my Insta, I don't know, name, or how do you
Mm-hmm.
call it, just like how it is, just my name.
Yeah.
And the name of my English course in English school is Nomad English. I just don't know, like it just clicked. Like
Mm-hmm.
the minute I thought about that, I was like, the whole I don't know marketing strategy and everything, like it just like popped out, and I was like, okay, I have like the whole branding image in my head. So just yeah, these are school's name. And yeah, it's just that Nomad English.
Nomad English. Yeah, it's a very catchy name.
Yeah,
Nomad has a good meaning behind
I,
it. I mean,
I speak about going through this English learning journey. So you are kind of a nomad in this
yeah.
like English learning world. So yeah, it just clicked.
Yeah, I hope it like goes to fruition. I hope you can actually launch this with the time that you're planning on launching it. Definitely, it's definitely a good project. People definitely need to learn English. I think it's a language that it's pretty much international. It's with English you can get into a lot of business or um or international environments, even the content that we consume. I think
Hmm.
a lot of the English content is not available in other
Yeah.
languages. So that's a big barrier that you can overcome through learning a language. However, when learning a language, I think, for people that already know English, they want to learn other languages. So, except English, what would be the second language that somebody should learn, in your opinion?
Uh, I don't know. That's like very personal. Like, at first, I want to thank you for all the kind words that you said, and like, thank you so much. And I hope you have like this bask in success in everything that you are pursuing in your life.
Thank
But
you.
for me, like the second language that I want to learn for now is Arabic. It won't be like the second, really, because I once knew Turkish. I was like, I could speak English like perfectly, just like I do speak English. But with the lack of practice, I just like lost all the vocabulary, but all the grammar it's still there, but just like I've lost all the vocabulary. And now, mm, like for me as a Muslim, it's Arabic.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think it's very personal choice for everybody. So I personally I love all the languages. Like when I hear French or Italian or any other languages like Japanese, Korean,
Hmm.
I just can like keep listening to like the language itself, and it amazes me. And the grammar of every language, it's like very interesting for me. But that's just me. I just love languages.
Hmm.
And but for people, it's just what they feel more attracted to, what they see themselves uh, getting into, because like learning a language, it's not just like getting some like to some new level in your life, to getting some new personal level. It's just getting I don't know, additional version of yourself, because that will be a bit different than you are originally. Like
Hmm.
I was bilingual from like the very start of my life, because I am Avar, so I have like my native language, and I knew Russian too from the very start.
That's native to Dagestan, the language Afghar.
Yeah, yeah. Avar language is Avar nation is one of the primal nations of the Dagestan, and yeah, I'm Avar, so it's like you got like from the Dagestan, you instantly got to Habib
Hmm.
Magomedov. So yeah, we are of one nation,
Hmm.
so Avar too, and it like learning some like new language, and especially when you do it when you are a grown up, it really affects your mentality. And
For
when you
sure.
switch to the other language, you are some other version of yourself, and that's the very important part. So you have to be very careful, because the culture that you will get into, the environment that you will learn the language from, it will affect you, and you have to be either I don't know, strong enough to not get some things that you don't want to, or you have to be like very, you have to already want to get those things for yourself.
Hmm.
Because I think for me, from English, I got like this not freedom, because I think nations over the Caucasus, we just like live, we breathe in and breathe out, like inhale and exhale the free spirit and spirit of the freedom. But this yeah, I don't know, independency, like that's what I like the first idea that pops up when I think about USA or like English speaking community, and that like what I got from learning English. Like I really am very independent in my thinking, in my personal choices, life choices, and like
It
generally in
opened
my
up a different perspective for you, basically.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it definitely did. And there is a saying I'm not like really sure who said that, but I think it was of Mark Twain. But he basically said that you are, I don't know, you live like lives so many times. How many languages you know, like, and
Hmm.
it's having some like second or third life. So
Yeah,
that's you have to be of some, I don't know, you have to be um, compatible with the language which you are going to learn spiritually. So
hmm,
you have to like really be ready for that.
yeah. I mean, we went on a small tangent, but as you mentioned, you were mentioning in the beginning that you forgot a lot of the English, but a lot of it was in your head. A small background about me is that I was born here in Belgium, but when I was 12 years old, I moved back to my home country, Bangladesh. Over there, I was able to learn English. But after I came back, it's been like 5 years, and I learned French until I was like 11 years old, but I had forgotten a lot because I didn't practice it. But after coming back, after starting to talk to people again, it all seemed to come back to me, and now I'm pretty good at speaking it both verbally and grammar wise. It's all good, but the writing is a bit difficult for me still because the studies I do, it's all in English. But what else? I mean, yeah, learning an any. I also heard that any language that you know is a different way of thinking in your mind. Let's say, if you know two, three languages, you'll be thinking differently depending on the language that you know, and I see it in myself as well. Um, then you said Arabic, which is really, really nice, and I also want to learn Arabic. Definitely for the reason because I'm a Muslim as well, but also that the amount of people you can talk to if you know
Yeah,
Arabic, you can talk to Egyptians, Syrians, Moroccans. You can talk to basically a huge amount of the population. And I was also thinking about learning Russian because then you can speak to another a huge
yeah,
amount of group. But then I talked to my Uzbek friend and he told me to not learn it from a business perspective. He was like, "Nah, it's like not a smart move to learn Russian." But I was like, "Nah, me, I really want to learn to communicate. I like
yeah.
to talk to people, and sometimes English doesn't allow it. So definitely, I want to learn Arabic, Russian, and maybe later Spanish. But we'll see.
Mm,
It's very tough to learn a language. It's a big investment.
yeah.
I have
And
a colleague that knows like 18 languages, but he's
wow.
like they call them polyglots.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So he's pretty.
it is crazy because like for me, I cannot like comprehend like speaking five languages
Mhm.
simultaneously, like fitting them into your brain. But 18,
Yeah. But how many
it's
languages can you speak now?
like Avar, Russian, and English. Like it's three. Like the most amount like of languages, it was four.
When
Like
you knew Turkish?
yeah, when I knew Turkish too. But I'm very like languages. They come very easy for me. Like I easily get into like any language. For example, when I was going to like grad school, I we had like two choices about languages. It was either French or English, and I was spared of English classes because I knew it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And but some days I got like the time to just be there, but I didn't want to go into English classes because it was like very painful for me to hear how
Stuff
they,
that you know and
yeah,
how
yeah,
it's taught. Yeah.
yeah, how they read, how they like put words into sentences, and I was like, okay, I'm just like not ready for that, and I just like was like, let's try French, and mind you, I was almost all the time I was the only one who was like responding to the teacher, and I was like, how are you not knowing what to say? Like you had 1 year long of like these lessons, and you cannot say anything, and yeah, it gets easy, but French is very similar to English. Like they have the same vocabulary and everything, and they are from like um, uh, they have,
Latin.
yeah, same background, but yeah, Arabic is, I think, yeah, it's very beautiful and very unique, and I just want to like really want to learn it, but still I hadn't any chance into even like getting into it.
Starting, yeah. But I mean, if you can read the Quran, I guess you know a very good base, and
Yeah,
then it's just learning through talking. That friend I was talking about, he told me he learned it in 3 months. He went to Egypt.
yeah,
3 months, yeah. He went to Egypt and he basically lived with Egyptians. But he had a good base. He had a base as well. But then in 3 months, he was able to grasp the entire language itself.
it's still like very impressive. But I don't know why your Uzbek friend told you to not learn Russian. It's very difficult. It's very I don't know, complicated language, but I just love it. Like I
Hmm.
love language. There are like some inner conflicts in Russia, and my nation, my republic, is like very no, I may even say oppressed by Russian
Hmm.
like regime, but still I love the language. Like you cannot not love the language because it's so beautiful, it's so complicated, and the beauty of the language is that it is so complicated, but it's like very strict, but it's very organized. When you get yourself to knowing not only like the grammar, pronunciation, like words, getting like good, decent amount of vocabulary, but when you are at the level where you know punctuation, like all the marks that
Hmm.
there are texts, you just like you feel the language with your fibers, and it's like very beautiful. And I just like get chills from that. Like I can confidently say that I know Russian even better than Russians do. Like I'm not like my nation is not Russian, but people here in Moscow too, they I I know Russian language better than they do because I love it on the level that they will never get to.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I advise you like to really get into learning Russian because I think one of the best authors that are in this world are Russian poets and writers.
Yeah.
Like stuff, it's very very heavy, but still, yeah, it's beautiful. Like Russian literature is one of the best.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only reason why he said it's just from a business perspective, because we
Yeah,
both studied in business marketing, so we're just talking about it. But as I said, the reason why I will learn a language is not for business, it's for self fulfillment, to be able to communicate with people. That's the biggest part. and I think Arabic and Russian will allow me to talk to so many people that I like as well, you know. And then moving on to Spanish, you can talk to South Americans, then Spanish people themselves. But yeah, it's definitely interesting languages, that is, learning them. But you started learning Russian as a kid, right?
Yeah, yeah, from the very childhood.
Yeah.
I was better in Russian than in my native
Mm-hmm.
language, and it was like it is like very embarrassing for me right now because like back then I didn't get the idea of not really being best at your native language, but I
Yeah.
was yeah, I was sent into like this higher village where all the people talk only Avar language, because in my village there were like different nations, Russians included, so we all speak Russian like more often. And I was sent there to just like a little to just like silence my Russian and just like get my Avar voice, and I'm like very grateful for that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess I have a similar experience because, my country, Bangladesh, my mother tongue is Bangla, and the country itself, it's there's colonial past, so English is really influenced in the country, you know. So even when I went back to Bangladesh when I was 12 years old, my parents enrolled me in an English speaking school, so I never really got to learn Bengali. I can only speak it. I can speak it pretty nice, but when it comes to writing, it's a bit difficult. But also, when I grew up here in Belgium, I didn't learn how to write. Only learned how to speak through
Mm-hmm.
my parents. But yeah, it's a bit. It's. I do feel a bit sad, but it's. What can you do? Maybe you can learn,
Yeah,
but as long as you can speak it, the
of
writing
course.
part you can
At least you do
manage.
that you have to do is really know how to speak your language, because if you lose that, you pretty much lose your cultural background. That like that's very tragic. Like
Yeah,
for me, it's a huge deal, and I just like know that I will really insist on my kids like really learning my native language. That's that's really definitely gonna happen.
yeah, yeah.
It won't be taken lightly.
Do you have any plans on moving anywhere else from Russia, or do you plan to stay?
Yes, yes, I want to move still, but I want to do it like more. I don't know. I want to be prepared, and I just don't want for it to be like any hasty decision. But I still want to try myself in USA. I want to like really expose myself to that world, and yeah, I want to live there, and I wanted like my best choice at a time was Canada, but I think USA will be more interesting than that. But Europe, I don't know. Like, I don't really I don't think there is any place for me in Europe because it's like very saturated with people. So I just don't think I will like. I want to visit
Hmm.
different and cities in Europe, but yeah, USA is number one
Yeah.
no, country that I want to live in. Yeah.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of Dagestan in Belgium. A lot of them that I know. I got to know them through wrestling and through friends of friends. But the states, what interests you the most about it? Is it of course, the language? You can speak it already, but what else interests you?
Um, I don't know. I just like the way of living, like not this dark side of more than USA,
Not the
but
liberal side, more of the.
yeah, yeah. Liberal and this soulless, like you see those people NPCs in TikTok. It's like really, even like I can say that it frightens me to see people like that. I get like literal cold chills, and I'm just like afraid for the humanity when I see people like that. But um, they're they are I don't know, they are very progressive. I think they are like the head of the progress in the world, good and bad. And I just want to see myself in that kind of world, to be a part of that, and to just like basically get the most and the best out of it, money, experience, everything. And I really want to know uh, like many Native American people, because their experience, their history, it resonates a lot with my own, with the history of my nation, of my um, homeland. And like all the time when I see any like stories, read, see, or anything, any representation of those nations, I get like very inspired by them, and like I felt some sort
Connection.
of, yeah, with them, and I just wanted to I don't know, investigate, to like feel it physically, like to really meet those people and see. I know like many of them, they live in not so good conditions, and yeah, it's very sad, of course, but I still want to I don't know, explore that world and their culture, and I want to know how much of their culture is still in their lives,
Hmm.
because in Dagestan, like our native culture is still a big part of our life, and hopefully that's the same for them too. And things like that, they really inspire and like drive me. Not like these skyscrapers or like big cities. It was always like, so what for me.
Hmm.
And New York, I can say like confidently, it's nothing in comparison to Moscow, because Moscow is much better place to live. It's very modern, it's very up to date, and very upscale. Whilst it's very green and very there are like the rat infestation, and like I don't know, all the insects and homeless people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not that's not an issue in Moscow. It's very clean. Like it's one of the cleanest. I think it's the cleanest city that I've been into like my whole life. But yeah, like New York, it doesn't like stand a chance in comparison to Moscow. So yeah, things like that, they do not like really inspire me, and that's not what I want to explore in USA,
The
because
nature and the people is what
yeah,
really drags.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the, but the good money too, of course. I'm still a very materialistic person, and I'm like very this like be the first billionaire of your family and everything like that kind of person. So yeah, and I think there are like lots of good opportunities in New York in particular, and in USA, for me to like really build my own fortune and everything, and the experience too, like the businesses that are going there, like that. I don't know. Their businesses are born and dying like every day in
Hmm.
USA. So yeah, there is a lot to learn
But why specifically New York? Because New York, it's pretty expensive as well. I mean, depending
It's
on your job, but it's still
like
expensive.
it's not very, I don't know, very good to live in, but I just want to see it. Like if I see it and I be like that's a hell no, I will just like get out of there because I'm not in any. I don't know. I don't like even the idea of New York, but the money is still better there because Moscow is the best place to make money in whole big like
Hmm.
Russia. But I think it's the same in New York too. But I don't know like why. I have only like these superficial reasons for that, but I want to live in Atlanta. I think that's like the best city for me. It's modern. It's like all that kind of stuff, and uh, there is money traffic there too, but
Hmm.
it's as I don't know worn out as New York is. So it's very livable still, but it gives opportunities for you to grow too.
Yeah. And regarding, because I think as a Dagestani, you've had your fair share of experience with guns. I think. What's your what's your outlook on it, or is this something that you like about America as well, the freedom to own
No,
firearms?
no, absolutely not. I hate guns when they are in arms of like stupid people, which are like,
That's for sure. Yeah, when they are
yeah,
misused.
yeah, and they are constantly misused, and they will be. I think most of the time they are misused, and I just that's like very that's like one of the reasons that I don't want to get there because like drugs and all sorts of things like alcohol and clubbing, all that things like all those things, and uh, I don't know, like their Second Amendment is like is a no for me, and I'm like in you know, for for people in Dagestan and in the Caucasus, uh, having a gun is like pretty usual thing, and people are like they are waiting for them to like getting older, like 18 or older, to for them to get two things: their guns and their driving license. It's just like I don't have like any of those, by the way, but I really don't like. I see the reason why people, especially people of the Caucasus, when we get into like I don't know outer world of Russia, when it's one thing when you live in the Caucasus in your own republic, you are much safer. But when you get to Moscow or
Hmm.
other cities, it's like really Russians against you. Like it's very dark here, like regarding that. I mean, for the time being, like Ukrainian people are their enemies, and there always have to be an enemy for them. And
But
from
how
that,
are Ukrainians the enemy though, if Russia is attacking them or trying to invade them?
like it's the media, like the news and the media, they just like feed the ideas
Russian
to
propaganda.
yeah to Russian people, and they are like just by the snap of the fingers, they are like, okay, we hate them. Like now we hate them. Like yesterday we hated people from Dagestan, from Chechnya, and other republics, and now we hate these people for no reasons. Like and like all of a sudden they have like this history of
Hmm.
hatred. And yeah, and I mean, no offense to Russian people, there are like many good and decent people. I have friends, Russian friends, and really good acquaintances too. But the main part of Russian community, they are straight out fascists. Like they really hate any other nation other than themselves.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's I cannot say that I'm like very I don't know for the people of the Caucasus. It's we have like those ideas too, but we do not think less of other nations. We
Hmm.
just stay in within our own nation, and we are just like trying to protect our integrity, our nation, our culture intact. But Russian people, they are very aggressive
You guys
in
are very nationalist. You know, you love your country and you would do.
yeah, we are nationalists and
Hmm.
they are fascists.
Yeah.
It really is like that. Like it may sound offensive for them, but that's really who they are, and they know that. And not like a lot of them even deny it because it will be very unsuccessful for them to deny like the plain truth. And yeah, it back in the days it was very dangerous for our people to be here, and we are even called black people of Russia, like we are called Black Russia.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
and yeah, it's like that. And for the black community, which I like love like with my whole heart, their culture, like people themselves, their history, their pain, and everything. I like it really resonates with me. It's uh, of course like the thing that they had back in the days and now too. It's nobody had all that, but I still like sympathize with them and with their history and I have like lots of black friends and when they ask me about like how things are in Russia and it gets to this point of me saying that I am called black in Russia, they are like they just lose it. They just like how you are just like white. How can you be called black? Like your hair, just that? And I'm like, no, we can be like very there are like very white people with I don't know how do I call it with yellow hair with blonde hair in Dagestan and other republics too, but we're still like people of the Caucasus is called black, even though the term of the race Caucasian is it originates from our republics, from
Hmm.
people, from our people, from the skull of one of our nations. I think it was Georgian woman whose like skull was I don't know investigated. Some scientist he like really based his this term Caucasian from her skull. Yeah, so it's like very twisted and stupid, but
Hmm.
that's just how people roll. All the people we are like in our base, in our foundation, very stupid.
I mean, yeah, all the countries that were part of the USSR are, I think, regarded that way. I mean, I have friends um, from um, from Dagestan, as I said, Uzbekistan, then Chechnya. Like, yeah, I mean, they like Russia, but Russians seem to perceive them in another way.
Yeah,
There's also Ingustia.
yeah, Ingushetia, yeah.
Yeah, so they're also like regarded that way. But as you said, it's not the first time that I hear that Russian people can easily be brainwashed through Russian propaganda, and it's very scary
Yeah,
to think because this means that an entire nation does not know how to think. They just follow what the leader says or what the media says.
yeah, that's like the worst. problem in modern world. In USA and Russia, they are like they think that they are enemies, but they are so much like they have so
Huge
many similarities.
similarities, yeah.
Yeah, they
But
are
at the same time, I think Americans, there's a good majority of people that see through even American politics and all that.
good part of woke, I don't know, part of their community. Like they can be athletes themselves, like or I don't know, like they can be no part of Muslim community, but they will still stand their ground. They will protect Muslims if they see them being attacked, and it's like Russians, they are growing into that. Like they are, really, I don't know how even to say that, but they are evolving. There are like people who can, like some insane racist people, they can see, for example, one of our people or Uzbek people or Tajik people who like they work. There are like very many people from Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. They live in Russia and they work here. And when it gets to praying, like they just like find some place for them to just pray. And some racist people, they can see them and they will be raging in hatred. Like, look at these like monkeys and everything. Like they are like praying their namaz like anywhere they want. Like, what is this like free world? And like, yeah, it's like much is you claim it to be a free world. So what's your problem? And there are like instances when Russian people themselves just like try to reason with them and shut them down. Like, what's your problem? What is he doing? Like, is he bothering you in any extent? Like, no. If you see some people, like there was like this one instance when I think it was Uzbek or Tajik person. It's not important, but he was praying and he was doing that in this playground, but it was winter and no kid was even there.
Hmm.
And woman, she had like this huge problem with him praying there. And there was like Russian man. He was like, "What's your problem? Like, just leave him and just like go, like look the other way." And he was like, "You don't have like any problem with when Russian people are here drinking, swearing, fighting, smoking, which they are legally prohibited to do on those playgrounds. And when he is just like praying for 5 minutes, you just like have this problem with him, like curious."
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, in USA there are like more people like that, not in Russia.
I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that the Uzbek or the Tajik people is being called a monkey. I mean, it's like racists just call anybody, monkey, or they call blacks monkeys. They call white. They can call Arabs that. I mean, it's so
But
funny.
they're cool too. Like we are called monkeys too, and there are like really I don't know the kinds of slurs that I cannot say here, but yeah, it gets messy when it gets to racism and fascism. It's always racist,
Hmm.
always messy. So we cannot be like exercising their slurs and I don't know, stepping down to their level. But actually, I like last year or the year before that, I was uh, filled with this rage, like against their rage, and it was messy too. And when I got to this point of like looking at myself from the distance, I was like, how did I get to this point?
Hmm.
And I'm like, I don't like this image. I don't like my myself being like that. So
Yeah.
I just
For people that understand, it's really mentally taxing to be against or to, react to the hate. I mean, even for me, anything that bothers me, I just don't associate myself, especially when it comes to hating somebody else. I mean, why would I waste my energy to hate somebody else? I mean, if there's a problem, I can try to solve it, can try to fix it, but to hate is just unnecessary and dumb. Um,
yeah.
it's crazy. So yeah, I mean the states. But you were saying you don't like the Second Amendment, man's right to bear firearms. You think there's a problem?
Yeah, but I mean, even when it was, and it still is, I don't know, like people, my people getting armed. It's like I get that. Like I get their idea of being more safe in day-to-day life because they can be attacked. There can be like there can be hate crimes, and if you like want to save yourself, you cannot like really rely on police or anybody else. You just
Yeah.
like yourself. So you just arm yourself. But I never got even like a small knife in my life. I just like I'm not saying that like if I got by without anything, like just my bare arms and everything, that's not. I'm not saying that. I just did. I was so lucky to get by just like that, and both of my brothers, both older and younger brothers, they are the same. Like they didn't have any guns or even knives on themselves. But I know like there are friends of mine who like there wasn't a day for them to get by without a knife. They never had to use it like happily, but I don't know. Like they always had that, and they were like, okay, I have to like get this like gun or anything like maze. I was like, okay, you just do that. That's not for me. If I hope if I get into any situation, I will be successful. Just getting, just defending myself, just myself with my body and skills. But
Hmm.
if somebody points a gun at you, the gun is more preferable, of course, than arms. Like there is like pretty much nothing that I can do if he just
Yeah.
shoots and he if he gets me.
Or just
But yeah,
comply. I mean, the smartest thing to do in a street fight or at gunpoint is just to do what the guy is saying. Try not to fight it. But the thing in America, the right to bear firearms is, I guess it is in the constitution. That's why people want to bear it. But I think it should go to the right people, not to everybody.
yes, yes,
Shouldn't go in the hands of criminals, that's for sure. Shouldn't go in the hand of somebody who's mentally sick. But if someone who wants basically just to protect him and his family, I think he can bear firearms. Uh,
yeah.
it,
Russia,
this
you can
mentality of children wanting to own guns is just
yeah,
dumb. It's not.
just messed up. In Russia, you have to like have like license to like you have to earn that license, and it's not like. But yeah, people here can buy guns too, but in USA it gets into like this insane point where you can buy gun even like mall, so like it's openly selling. So that's not like there are specific shops
Hmm.
of guns here, but yeah, in US they have it like at some different level, and
Yeah.
I think you would think that the amount of school shooting and everything like it will get you into some point where you will like reconsider, but they just don't, because that's not a thing in Russia, because like there are only I think several like couple of times when school shootings had place in Russia, even if it's like very big, but it always were like staged
Mm-hmm.
by when they had to like make some political statement. Like they just like get some. For example, like the last one, it was to blame on Ukrainian people in Ukraine, and it's always like that. Like you have to blame somebody, you have to like initiate some political movement. You just kill some people, and in America, they really just people kill people. So it's a different thing for Russia and for USA.
It's two
I
different,
have
completely different countries and culture. It's crazy. I
yeah,
mean,
but they have like very like many similarities. Nation like people and the government. Are you like working for like one script or something? But yeah, they're like very much the same.
yeah. I mean, Nazirdin, it was really interesting to talk. We've almost been talking for 2 hours, but it's really nice. I wanted to tell you how I got to find your Instagram page.
That, that's very interesting part for me.
Yeah. So basically, I was looking through, a lot of reels, looking for someone to interview, and then I came across this Instagram reel. It was about this brand that make aura shields. You put over your aura, basically. They
Oh
make
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
cloth. Uh,
My about that.
yeah, yeah, and I saw your comment where you said, "Just wear
Uh,
your T-shirt," and that
yeah,
made so much sense. It had like 100 likes, and then I looked into you and I saw, yeah, I mean, you're doing these things, and I just randomly found you, and you seem very interesting. So I hit you up, and when I hit you up, I called you Nazir
yeah.
because I thought, Nazirdin. I have a friend who's called Nazir, and I
Mhm.
thought you were from, you know, either Dagestan or Ingustan.
Mhm.
So I thought it was Nazir, but then you corrected me, and it was nice. But yeah, that was a good comment, which makes sense. Like, why sell an aura shield if you can just wear a T-shirt? It's
Yeah, not that hard. Like it's not so difficult. You don't have to find a solution to a problem where there isn't even a problem, a real one. You
Mhm.
just like expose yourself.
Yeah, you're creating a thing. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to take off their shirts to just for
Yeah.
the video and hide their aura at the same time, but it's counterproductive. Even if you show your
Yeah.
body like that, it's it's not the best. It's like a thirst trap, at the end of the
Mhm.
day.
Because I mean, you really know that people will look at you, and like girls, they will be, I don't know, like getting all the ideas
Hmm.
just looking at you. Why would you do that? Like there will be Muslim sisters too that will see you, and they will that like mainly those people like our people will see you, and you know that you are like a huge harm to your community. Why would you do that? Like why would you still uh, insist on uncovering your body and like exposing yourself? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like
guess it's kind of a gym culture that's become. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm guilty of it, but for sure I make small workout videos just for stories, just to show my training routine. But I don't really show without a t-shirt picture. That's like just out of the question. Just the workouts, it's good, but yeah, it's a bit of a, wouldn't say weird situation, but I don't know. It's just better not to put these on social media.
I don't want to like I don't know uh, seem like this insanely modest and pious person, but I really would hate to know that I'm feeding into people's ideas of me, like them imagining me like fully unclothed and like wanting for them to see me, because I will just like not feel comfortable. And I try as much as I can, like even like t-shirts. I try not to like get some like very I don't know
Tight or skin tight t-shirts.
those t-shirts, because it won't be comfortable for me to for people to just like look at me and have like my body seen, even
Mm-hmm.
if posed. And yeah, people that are into gym, like gym rows, they are mostly like very, I don't know, uh, very superficial and narcissistic, and they need, they have this like constant need for people to give them
Attention.
like yeah, reassurance that you are like doing a great job and you are like looking very hot and fit and everything. Like if you are doing it for the stupid reasons, you will just get the stupid results. And just don't do that. You don't need for them to see you, and it will only lead you into darker and lower places. So even when I when I get all these comments from brothers, and like let alone getting them from sisters, I get I don't know, so uncomfortable that
Yeah.
I even that should I just like quit posting anything? And I never like could like get myself into posting my workouts, because I wanted, like I want to show people how to work out, how to do like different exercises, but I just can't. Like it will be so I don't know, revealing and so uh, I don't know, entertaining for a wrong kind of audience, and I
Mm-hmm.
just don't want that kind of audience.
I guess it's depends on your intention and the way you present it. I guess
Yeah,
it's like, I have a lot of coaches, friends who are coaches. They have to advertise themselves, and they do post their workout and stuff. They do this for a living. So the stuff that you can control, example, if you want to put yourself without a t-shirt, just don't post that, but show the
yeah.
exercises you're doing, teach
Yeah,
how you do them.
just like not ready for that kind of attention
Mm-hmm.
right now, but once I will get to that point, I will just like post and not care, because I will
Yeah.
just block them, because I did not pay for my expensive phone for you to just bother me here. That's not gonna happen. So bye bye. But I know like the amount of like these wrong kind of comments for people of fitness industry, and even Muslim coaches
Mm-hmm.
and athletes. It's just like insane.
Yeah.
There's like too much of them.
It's a tough time to be living in, I think, as a Muslim. A
Dark
lot
times.
of, a lot of, yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of even our, even sometimes I see even I can control a lot of stuff, that
Yeah.
should be.
We're all people, but yeah, we just don't. We just can't indulge into
Hmm.
those things. We cannot like be a part of that. Like give them I don't know the space to fulfill their dirty desires. But just like we have to. We cannot let them affect our lives too. Like we cannot let them to like mm,
Impact our
take.
mentality and change us, because that's a big issue. I mean, there's a lot of liberal Muslims, which is
Mm,
very crazy for me. I mean, in the States, it's much crazier. I was seeing a video of like a woman leading the prayer, and it's
yeah.
And even in Europe, I mean, I have like colleague who said it's perfectly fine for a woman to lead the prayer, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore, bye bye. Like, if that's what you think. And she was a girl. That was also like the even messed up part, you know. It's like, it's crazy. It's the feminist movement and this LGBT
Mm-hmm.
movement. Don't want to get too deep into it because, you know, it's it's a rabbit hole that's with
Yeah,
no end. Yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, Nazirdin, what's your one last piece of advice you would like to tell the audience regarding anything that you want, be it fitness or your teaching journey, your program?
I would advise people to just take action, not to overthink the things that they want to start or the things that they want to end. Just do it. Like it's that simple. Do things that you want to do, and then if it turns out to be something more difficult or something else that you didn't think of, or it will be not unsuccessful, you will just like do the other thing. But if you want to do something, just do it. Like take an action, and it will only benefit you in all the ways possible. And staying at the same place and not doing anything will only harm you. So that's just it. Be brave, be confident, and just trust yourself. You cannot like there isn't any kind of trust other than trusting yourself and God, of course, but you cannot trust anybody else. You just trust yourself that you will get by any single uh, downfall that you will have with people, with work, with any kind of experience that you will have in life, and you just trust yourself. You trust your power, your strength, your ability to just recover from anything that will happen to you, either it be success or your defeat. So you have to endure both of them, your successes and your falls too. So you just have to trust that you are capable of enduring any of those. That's just it.